Now, when President Bola Tinubu approved a 15% import duty on petrol and diesel, the government called it a corrective policy. It was one meant to protect local refineries like the Dangote refinery, strengthening the Naira and advance Nigeria's energy independence. Critics, however, say it's yet another blow to struggling Nigerians already paying close to 1,000 naira per litre for petrol. And it's actually not the first time a Nigerian government has tried to use tariffs or levies to shape the downstream sector from subsidy regimes to import bans and price modulation templates. We've seen this play out before. The question this time, however, is whether or not this version will deliver economic stability or deepen hardship. And that's one big story we are checking out beyond the headlines tonight to unpack what this new 15% actually means and whether or not Nigerians would pay higher or lesser than what they currently do for petrol. We'll get back to that story subsequently. The private sector has long been recognized as the backbone of Africa's economic growth and sustainable development. And this was the central message at the NEPAD Business Group Nigeria, a high-level business forum held under the theme Mobilizing Africa's Private Sector for AfCFTA Towards Africa's Economic Development and Global Uncertainty. Sunday Binabo has more.
Policymakers, business executives, development partners, and regional economic stakeholders gathered to discuss strategies for deepening private sector participation in the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area, a key driver for boosting intra-African trade and advancing the continent's economic integration.
Thank you.
Speaker after speaker emphasized the shared responsibility of government and businesses to unlock AfCFTA's full potential in accelerating Africa's growth and development.
This forum is a modest contribution to ongoing efforts at ensuring that intra-African trade grows at an annual average rate of 6.6% between 2025 and 2027, and that Nigeria and other African countries achieve the revised annual GDP growth rate of 8%.
Nigeria, with a domestic GDP of $477 million and a population of over 200 million people, offers a strong base for regional production, trade, and innovation.
Most times, the private sector organizations are focused on a very narrow scope. We have left out largely the service sector. And maybe I should stand on this opportunity and challenge the banks, organizers of different fora, to see how you can bring in the service sector into what we do in the private sector.
Government representatives and key stakeholders underscored the importance of empowering the private sector through increased investment financing, policy support, and the removal of trade barriers across African borders.
The success of AfCFTA depends largely on how we mobilize our private sector, the true engine of job creation, innovation, and productivity. So in order to make AfCFTA work in Africa in these uncertain times, we must focus on a few key solutions. Empowering small and medium enterprises, SMEs, they are the heartbeat of Africa's private sector.
Under Nigeria's National Development Plan, 85% of the investments are supposed to be accounted for by the private sector. The national and subnational governments are only supposed to pump in 15% of the required resources. However, for the private sector to be able to invest properly, the governments need to provide the enabling environment.
The outcome of this forum is expected to contribute to policy recommendations and strategic frameworks that will enhance regional trade and economic development across Africa. Sunday Binibo, TVC News, Lagos.
We'll talk more about regional trade shortly after this break. Stay with us, everyone.